is C-Fan Sports, the sports show that is dedicated to the Seattle sports fans. My name is Dave. This is Kevin. Kevin, how are you doing today, buddy?
Well, I'm good and bad. So,
Well, before you get me into any of that, Kevin, if you guys are new here, make sure you subscribe down below. Make sure that you turn on your notification bells. Heck, if you're not new and you're not subscribed, we don't know what you're waiting on. So why don't you go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Also, Kevin, thumbs up.
Thumbs up.
Thumbs down.
No.
You don't like the down, but it doesn't matter to me. So thumbs up, thumbs down, and make sure that you guys leave comments.
Yes.
Man, I tell you what, we got a lot of things to comment about. We're going to break down the last two series. Kevin, here's the thing. We went into, after the last series that we had, a sweep of Arizona, we felt like we were riding high. They jumped on that airplane. They flew over to Texas, lost 2 of 3 to Houston, and then came home for some home cooking. Must have been something bad in the fridge because we dropped 2 of 3 to the Arizona lowly Diamondbacks.
Mm-hmm.
I think, Kevin, the thing that spoiled in the fridge may have been a sandwich.
Yeah, I have to agree with you on that one. He didn't even make a third of an inning. Didn't get a single out and gave up 4 runs. How do you do that? In my opinion, the man lost the game. Anthony Miswich, or however you pronounce his name.
Misevich, Kevin. Misevich.
I call him McSandwich, so he's on my bad list today.
But like you and I were just talking, Kevin, unfortunately, as bad as he played, as giving up those 3 runs, okay?
Yep.
We had an opportunity to win that game in the 9th inning.
Yes.
Kelnick came up and battled a 9-pitch at bat, hit a shot to the to the cafe out there, and then brings up Cal Raleigh. Now, Kevin, he's one of our young prospects. He's supposed to make this team better, and he's still young, and we have to.
I know
these are
tough.
Growing pains. And then they bring up J.P. Crawford after Cal Raleigh doesn't even get a bat on the ball and strikes out. J.P. Crawford comes up, and I'm like, okay, it's J.P. Crawford time, and not so much. So, Kevin, why don't you tell us a little bit about how many runners left on base this series?
In this series against the Diamondbacks, today's game, we left 6 guys on base and we're 0 for 2 with runners in scoring position. Yesterday's game on the September 11th, we left 6 guys on base and we were 0 for 5 with runners in scoring position. And the first game on the 10th, which we won, we only left 3 guys on base and we were 2 for 6 with runners in scoring position, and we won the game. We got to get these guys off of base and home. It is absolutely critical. We give Anthony a bad time today because, in my opinion, he lost the game. But if we could get those guys in, you can't leave 6 guys on the base in every game and expect to win. We can't do it. We got to get these guys home, whether it's situational hitting or we need those thumpers, Jerry, that I've been talking about. You got to start listening to our show, Jerry, because we're not getting those guys. So,
all right, Kevin, let me ask you this then, okay? You've got a decision with Kyle Seager coming up. Is his bat enough and his glove enough to have you extend out Kyle Seager next year?
If we can make
and beyond,
if we can make a package deal with Kyle and his brother, yes. In my opinion, is his glove good enough to warrant him being here with his batting average? Because his batting average is not that great right now. He has hit 32 home runs, or I don't know how many. I'm so frustrated right now. I think that we need real serious power. Guys that when they come up, they're pitching around. They're not pitching around Kyle Seager. Even nobody is. And we need guys that they pitch around. like a Ken Griffey Jr. or, Edgar or somebody like that. We're missing those. And that's what we don't have and we have to have. Now, I really believe that Jared Kelnick could be one of those guys. Kyle Lewis could be one of those guys. Julio Rodriguez could be one of those guys. We need somebody. Ty France is one of those guys. I don't know if they're going to pitch around him, but the guy reminds me of Edgar to a certain extent. Now, if we can get all those guys performing with a couple other thumpers, boy, it's over. Absolutely.
All right, Kevin. So when we started this podcast, this is our 46th podcast that we've done together. So when we started, man, I tell you what, the first couple weeks, 3, 4, 5, 6, I can't even count. Mitch Hanigar was the guy that we just, man, do we trade him? Do we get rid of him? Man, I tell you, at this point right now, he's kind of faded into the background.
Well, Mitch
he's what?
No, I was just going to say, Mitch is a guy, he's a lot like Kyle Seager, that this batting average is not that great, but defensively, he's unbelievable. He also got an amazing arm. He's really a quality outfielder, but is he going to start when you have Jared Kelnick, Julio Rodriguez, and Kyle Lewis? No, I don't. He's going to be a fourth outfielder.
And you've already told me that he doesn't have a good average. So what? And he can hit some home runs, but is he going to be a DH for us?
I don't know if he's going to be a DH. I still want him around. I don't want to get rid of him. I just think
I just don't think he's worth that money. And I think we've got three huge. Go ahead.
In my opinion, he is gone next trade deadline.
Yeah.
Unless they can trade him.
Decisions.
Unless they can trade him this year for a big bat this offseason. I don't think he's going to be around. I absolutely love Mitch Hanigar, and I'm not going to complain, but I don't know if he's going to be around.
Right. We have 3 big decisions right now, Kevin. And to me, all 3 of them are people that unfortunately, in order for our club to go forward, I think that we have to get rid of Yusei Kikuchi, or not get rid of, but not extend Yusei Kikuchi. Don't pick up that $60 million extension. Mitch Hanigar, I think that we need to look into trading him. And then I also think that we need to make sure that Kyle Seager is no longer a Mariner. I think we move Toro over to third base. Correct. And let the chips fall where they may.
Well, go ahead. I'm sorry.
I just don't see this club taking those 3 veterans forward, because right now, Kevin, this is where, if those 3 veterans, those 3 guys were going to bring you home, this is the time. This is the time they shine.
Right.
And all 3 of them are just fading into obscurity, and we're falling further. Well, unfortunately, we're not falling further away in the wild card race, because Boston Yankees are falling apart as well.
And so are the A's. So yeah, Toronto's killing it right now. Everybody else is kind of struggling, but
exactly. I mean, we still could get hot, but is this a World Series team?
No, the one we have, absolutely no way. And here's my part of my issue is, during the Astros series, none of our starting pitchers went 5 innings. Tyler Anderson went the furthest at 4 1/3, I think 4 1/3, but none of them went 5 innings. We can't have that.
We picked up Tyler Anderson off the scrap heap.
Exactly. We can't have that. Our starting pitchers have got to make it 5 innings, at least 5 innings, and stay competitive. They didn't do it. In the Arizona series, yeah, we did it, but they're not the same caliber of team as the Houston Astros. In that series against Houston, we left 28 guys on base, and we were 9 for 34 with runners in scoring position. You can't win series doing that.
No.
And I still believe the Mariners are going to figure out somehow, because we got 7 games against the Oakland A's. We got 3 against Boston. And I really believe somehow we're going to pull this out and we're going to make the playoffs, but it's going to be an early exit. So I'm still rooting for a playoff spot. I'm not giving up yet, but we have to make a total change and a makeover this season. We need a DH, a real DH, not Trends. I think Toro is going to move over to third base. I think T.Y. France is going to move over to second base. And, I don't know what's going to happen with our first baseman in the future.
What? I think Evan White is who they have.
Well, I know he's penciled in there, but is he going to be healthy enough to start next season? And is he going to have the growing pains that right now Jared Kelenic and Cal Raleigh, who I think both of those guys are going to be superstars in the future. So, and even Evan White, I believe all three of them are going to be superstars in the future, but I don't think we really need Kyle. And I've been a fan of Kyle forever. Hanigar, I think, is gone. I think YK is gone, like you said. And then I think that some of these other guys in the AA are going to be coming up. And we could talk about that in a little bit.
The Matt Brashes of the world, who is filthy, just filthy. Yep. Anyway, Kevin, let's put a wrap of on this last week, which was we went we won 2 out of 6, and to be honest with you, Kevin, we were competitive in every game except one. Yeah, one game used to just kick the snot out of us. I mean, they were a bully. They bullied us that game.
Well, YK looked horrible.
Right, he did, and he needs to think that, hey, I'm pitching for my career in Seattle. Yeah, and I honestly don't think that I think if George Kirby or Emerson Hancock or Matt Brash or again, I know you were going to talk about that in the trip around the minors, but yeah, I think any one of those three is going to be able to replace him. Anyway, Kevin, why don't you give me a bow on what you thought of this last week, and then we'll move on to the minors.
I thought it was absolutely painful. That's all I can say.
It was root canalian.
It was pretty much there. Yes.
Put that one in the books. Yep. Root canalian. Anyway, Kevin, without further ado, hopefully we got some good news out of the minors. So we're going to say goodbye to the major league team. Yep. Tell me what's going on with the Tacoma Rainiers, sir.
The Tacoma Rainiers are on fire.
Those boys are on fire.
They won 4 games last week, lost 1. They are now currently in first place by 3 games. They're at 66-45. Today's game was postponed. I'm not sure why. I didn't really get into it too much, but I want to talk about a couple things. On September 11th, which is Saturday's game, Ryan Weber, who I don't even know really who he is. He's a pitcher. He ended up pitching 8 innings, 5 hits, 2 runs, 8 Ks, and no walks. And I was like, wow, that's impressive.
How many walks, Kevin?
0 walks.
Oh, shoot. No free passes.
No free passes. And then this past week, the Rainiers hit 5 home runs with runners on base.
Ducks on the pond.
That is how you win games. And one of those home runs was a grand salami. So, you got to hit home runs with guys on base and win games and have good pitching.
Gotcha. So all right, Kevin, that's what's going on in Tacoma. Let's head down south. Tell me how the Travelers, this is the one that I think I'm a little giddy about. I want to know a little bit more about what's going on with the Travelers. Talk to me, Kev.
Well, they had 3 wins, 3 losses last week. They're currently in second place still with 2 games out. They didn't really have a great week. Julio's still Julio. He is hitting .373. He had 3 home runs this week, 8 RBIs, and 8 runs batted in. On Friday, the Travelers ended up hitting 5 home runs. And 2 of those in one game, and 2 of those were Julio's.
All right.
Well, and
that sounds like a thumper.
That was. And in fact, in that same game on Friday, I'm going to say Brian Williamson. I cannot remember Williamson's first name. Sorry. He went 5 innings, 7 hits, 2 runs, 9 Ks, and no walks.
All right, Kevin. So Travelers, they got some good, they got some bad. We're going to take it.
It was an okay week.
Let's head up to Everett. What are the Aqua Sox doing?
The Aqua Sox are on a free fall downwards. They are currently in third place at three and a half games out. They had 1 win, 4 losses. However, good news for the Everett Aqua Sox. There is a brand new jersey on sale now. Novell Marte finally got the call up on the 7th of September and is batting .278, which is typical for him. And he's gone 5 for 18 with 3 runs, 2 doubles, and 2 RBIs.
Well, Kevin, that must mean that left the nuts unprotected without Novell.
Well, they've had some killer batters down there. It doesn't mean that, but good for Novell. I'm excited for him, and he's now with Everett Aqua Sox.
Well, then, Kevin, tell me about their nuts.
They're currently in third place, 59 and 50, 13 games out of first place. They had 1 loss last week. That's it. 6 games were canceled due to COVID. So they didn't really have a lot of exciting stuff going on. But I do want to talk about Rozier, the outfielder who was a draft pick in 2021, I think a 12th round. He is batting .417 since his call up August 1st. He's had 43 hits in 103 plate appearances, 7 doubles, 3 triples, 2 home runs, 21 RBIs, 28 runs, and 18 walks.
Wow.
This kid has been a one-man wrecking crew. And luckily there's been 2 other guys down there with him that are tearing it up. So, but hats off to Rozier. He is basically my minor league player of the month.
Oh, wow. All right.
Him and Julio. I shouldn't ever exclude Julio because
Julio is always in that top.
He is definitely in the top 2%. So our 1%.
What, Kevin? It sounds like COVID really kicked us in the nuts.
It pretty much did this week. Yes.
All right, Kevin. Well, let's wrap this episode of Mariner Weekly up. And Kevin, let's hope for better things to come this week against the Boston Red Sox.
And our dreaded, unfan favorite catcher out of Kansas City I'm just not excited about that. But
I'm dreading that kid.
It is in a very important week. With the 3-game series against Boston, the series against Kansas City, we really need to take these 2 series to keep in the hunt.
All right, Kevin, hopefully next week when we meet up, we'll be talking about more playoff aspirations. But as for now, CFan Sports is going to bid you a farewell. Thank you so much.
Peace.